Hello and welcome to my podcast, Up Your Total Glow. I'm so excited that you are here with me today. And today I'm speaking with a truly remarkable woman, human being, and soul. And she has a very inspiring journey. Today I'm speaking with Karen ZuZu Ziemer Armes. And Karen has overcome epilepsy, scoliosis, and arthritis. And she has dedicated her life to helping others reclaim their health through practical, simple steps. At Lilly Fields, she teaches hands-on cooking and wellness classes that empower people to make real changes at home. And I couldn't be more excited to welcome Karen today. Karen, thank you so much for being here. How are you?
You're so welcome. I'm happy to be here. And
Mm.
thank you for all you do. We obviously can tell from the pictures that I am in the middle of the evening and you're in a beautiful, glorious setting in the middle of the day. I love that we can connect from worlds away.
Yeah, I feel absolutely the same. It's very, very special. So thank you for making this time in your evening. And
Yeah.
you seem just as full of life as in the morning. So how do you do that? Where do you get your amazing energy from?
Oh, that's so funny. Oh, so years ago, this same question was asked. So, you guys, I have to paint the picture. I walk into this boardroom. They had asked me to come and speak, and it's all these men in suits. And I'm like with my little flower in my hair. It's like 30 years ago, right? And so I come in and they did their thing, and then they asked me to speak. And so I spoke to this very intimidating group of men. I think one woman was there. And afterwards, the president of the organization came up. He said, Karen, where do you get your energy? And at that moment, I answered, President, I eat it. And I had no idea then what I know now about electricity and biophotons and all the minerals. I mean, I knew a bunch about minerals because I was teaching at that point, but so I guess I eat it. Lots of living food from outside in the sun, full of biophotons and then minerals. And I honestly think that a lot of people don't know how important it is to have minerals every day from the food they eat because minerals spark our life. Our minerals are electricity, electrons. And they spark every part of our body.
Mm.
So I definitely teach biophotons and minerals from food. So
I love it. Okay, so let's jump right in. So when I'm eating, or if I was eating with you, Karen, what would be on our plates?
well, for tonight, so tonight I just made a big salad, and because fibers feed your probiotics, so the bacteria in your gut, you want to have a diverse fiber intake because the human body can never break down fiber. It is useless to us. There's no vitamins, there's no minerals, there's no amino acids, there's nothing in fiber for a human body. However, that fiber goes into the colon and feeds all your bacteria. And the more diverse the bacteria, the fiber, the more diverse the bacteria. And
Mm.
so on my salad, I had what did I have? I had radishes and tomatoes and sprouts and I don't know, 4 or 5, 6 different vegetables. And I had a different salad for lunch because I had lots of kale and lots of nuts and seeds on my kale salad. I eat more than just salad, but those diverse fibers make my gut all happy, and then that makes me not ever get depressed or sad or have pain, so our bacteria is so important to feed. So my sweet Ruth, when we see each other, we are just going to have wonderful food, and a lot of it will be alive. If you can, in the country that you're in, have more living food than dead food. That is one thing that we do recommend, because the minerals truly are needed by the body, and
Mm.
it works. So
Mm.
that's what
Beautiful.
I'm.
Thank you so much. There was so much in it. I have a few questions. So, number
Yeah.
one, when you speak of alive foods, are you talking about mainly raw foods, or what do you mean with alive foods? And then,
Mhm.
second, mm, our soils aren't the same anymore. So, what can we do to really make sure that we do get enough minerals? Because you're right, minerals are so important for our health, for our vitality and well-being.
That's a very good question. And so I spent several years studying the frequencies of food. And so we find that we can measure anything in the world if you're going to use voltage or watts or measuring sticks, right? Or grams. But you can also measure the frequency of anything using a voltmeter. And so I actually measured, I collected data from all over the world. Oh my gosh, all the different countries that had measured frequencies of food and frequencies of emotions. And it was interesting because I gathered all this information and I put it into a chart. And the food that has the highest vibration are foods that are alive that haven't been cooked yet, except for only a couple exceptions, which are really funny. And so and I recognize that there's a time and a place for steamed vegetables. I love steamed vegetables, especially through the winter months, right? But knowing that we still need to have some of that living food because your food that is alive that's not cooked yet. That food is what has the highest mineral or vibrational frequency. So they're different things, but vibrational frequency.
Mm-hmm.
And that's simply because there's life in it. There's light from the sun. But minerals, they go out into the water if we are soaking and then, boiling our vegetables. We don't want to do that. We want to lightly steam them so we retain the mineral content. And so living foods, yes, would be more live foods that are alive in your salads and your smoothies or whatever you're eating, chomping on carrots or grabbing a papaya. I loved being in Taiwan because I could just grab papayas and kiwis and coconuts right off the trees and eat them whenever we wanted to, in Samoa. But here in America, where we live, the living food needs to come out of your garden or an organic section at your grocery store. And during the winter months, there's not as much to select from. And you ask a perfect question because minerals come out of the ground. How do you know you're getting enough of them or where do you get them from? And I'm really like, please ask your farmers, because if you have a farmer who is growing organic and not spraying the insecticides and pesticides and herbicides, they're going to tell you. And the farmers who are spraying are going to tell you. Like farmers are proud of how they're farming,
Mm.
either whether it's conventional or whether it's organic. So I'm just really encourage people to ask. And I do recommend organic roots for the simple reason that insecticides are sprayed on products to kill insects, and larvicides are injected into meat to kill the larvae so you don't see it when you pour Pepsi or Coca-Cola on your pork chop, right? And then little worms come out because that's exactly what's going to happen. And herbicides, they're designed to kill the living nervous system of a plant. And so if we're eating pesticides, and herbicides and larvicides and insecticides, then we're killing our living nervous system. So for the best food, try to get organic, things that you grow. But if you can't, at least ask and try to find out where your food is grown, because composting and putting back into the earth what we don't use is wonderful because we're getting more minerals into our tomatoes and our kale and our plants. And then sometimes that's going to be time to lightly steam, because if you lightly steam spinach, you're going to have a different profile than if you're eating raw spinach. And I love steamed spinach with all sorts of fun stuff on it. So it really is that diversity, just not boil. I mean, if you're going to boil something, save the water and pour it into your plants and you'll have happier plants. At least give them the minerals. But yeah, just kind of looking at where you're at, yin and yang, where you are with if you need to cool the body or heat the body.
Mm-hmm.
It's really what we look at when we work with people, because I can't take some people who have eaten poorly so much of their life and they're dealing with a dis-ease and put them right into a full raw food diet. We can't do that. That's not fair to their systems. And so it really is, there's such a wide variety of times and places when it comes to what to eat. But again, there's so many simple answers. The more mineral dense, the more, beneficial it is to the body. I hope that I answered that the way you wanted that answered, but that's what we do. So
Mm. Thank you so much for sharing. And I'm so glad that you also mentioned that, meet you where you're at, because it is my experience that if I gave most of the clients that come to me, mostly raw foods, I don't
Mhm.
think they would be able to digest them very well. And in Ayurveda, for us, the
Mhm.
foundation of everything is
Yeah.
actually your digestion. So we don't say you are what you eat, but we say you are what you digest. And this is
Yes.
super important because I see so many clients who have the most perfect diet on their plates, yet
Mhm.
they are full of inflammation. And of
Mhm.
course, there goes so much more into it.
Mhm.
Digestion in many ways also. Are they able to digest what they see daily, what they feel? Have they digested the stuff from years ago, or is it still stuck in their body? So yes, we can broaden this, but I love that you said that yes, you meet them where they are at. And
Mhm.
in Ayurveda also we speak of certain body mind types. So there are three. And
Yes.
there is one that actually doesn't do very well on too much raw foods. Yeah. So I do feel we have to be very mindful and individualize how we help this person to enjoy live foods. But yeah, I love, love, love that you spoke about live foods. And I also love that you spoke about probiotics and fiber, because I feel the conversation these days is mainly about protein. And
Oh,
nothing wrong with protein. And
mhm.
that's very simplified. It's
Yeah.
not just about protein. So thank you so much for sharing that. And seeing your reaction, would you like to say something about the whole protein conversation that's happening right now?
Oh my word. Yes, 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 because I work with clients every day, and you get these like, oh, plants are poisonous, and I'm like, oh my word. If you have a leaky gut, yeah, you're going to have plants that are going to really react. But if you clean up your gut, then you won't have any problems with any kind of plants. You actually need plant. And I think the hardest thing for me is to look at these people who are like, meat, 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 and
Mhm.
dairy, 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 and let's, and I'm like, they don't have any fiber and they get sick because you actually need fiber to feed your probiotics naturally in the body, and you have it. Hopefully they still have their appendix. For those of you who aren't aware, that appendix is like a seed bank. It's this little seed bank. It's so cute. And like if you go drink water like out of a stream and you get a bug and your appendix is like, "Oh, alert, alert, there's an invader. We know how to kill that." The appendix will release a little bacteria or antibiotic, and it will grow depending on the fiber that you have.
Mhm.
So if you don't have enough fiber in the digestion, then you can't grow the bacteria or the antibody that will then get rid of the constituent that you ate that is a toxin to the body. So it's like we have these chemical factories to our entire body
Mhm.
that are dependent on molecules. And so protein eaters, when it's just protein, 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 and not the fiber that is needed and the healthy fats, we can have some issues. But my biggest thing with protein, Ruth, is that people, if I say you need more protein, you think I need more animals. And I mean, no, 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 no. No one in the world needs more protein, anywhere in the world. What they need is more amino acids. And every amino acid is different. So lysine is different than tryptophan, which is different than serine, which is different than, right, tyrosine. All of these are different. And if you don't have enough glutamic acid or tyrosine, then you're going to have an issue, because a protein is built of amino acids, just like a word is built of letters. ERIC, that makes my son's name Eric. But if
Mhm.
I get rid of the E, then it's Rick. But if I send him a card in the mail and it says Rick, he's not going to open it. I
Mhm.
need to have E, and our proteins are the same way. We have to link, 4,000 of these and 6,000 of those and two of those and 1,400 of those amino acids, And then we have a protein to build our eyelash, right? And so, or our eyebrow. So our body is made of protein, but all the protein is amino acids linked together. And so probably my favorite thing to teach my clients is we test them and show them the amino acids that they're deficient in. And then we give them a list of foods that you get, those amino acids in. And then they can start building their body back, because it's not that people are making hydrochloric acid, it's that they're missing the building blocks to make hydrochloric acid. When people have a thyroid disorder, they go to a hospital or a doctor and they get some, crappy thyroid medication, when that's not it. The thyroid isn't making T4 because it doesn't have tyrosine, which is the T, or 4 molecules of iodine. So I think if we step back and look at the body as a machine or a home, you can get a bunch of lumber dropped off to build a house, but if you don't have the nuts and the screws and the hammer and the nails, you can't build anything. And minerals and vitamins and biophotons and enzymes, especially, those are how we build our body. So protein to me is extremely important, but it's more important to have the amino acids that you need. So if I say protein, I'd love everybody to think, which amino acids do I need? And that's that. Now we can build something in the body. So.
Mm.
That's what I know from teaching and
Mm.
studying. So
Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much for that clarification. I love that. What an empowered world would it be if we were asking that question? You know, are you having all the right amino acids to really build the foundations of your home instead of just eat more protein? I love that. Yeah, beautiful. Okay. I've never thought about it that way. I always thought somehow, oh, that's confusing. That's not making it simple enough for the clients. But
Mhm.
that's not right. It's all about empowerment. Of course, we can make that simple and easy talking about amino acids. Thank you for that. Um,
You're
I will change my conversation with my clients from here on, I think.
so sweet.
This
It's,
inspired me.
I think it's empowering, and I can send
Mhm,
you. I created an amino acid chart. It's in my book because I want like my clients to know what they're low on, and then eat the foods and like bee pollen and spirulina and pumpkin seeds. Those have all of your essential
mhm,
amino acids. So essential amino acids are one that we need to get from food because our body doesn't make it. But there's only 9 essential amino acids for adults, which means your body is making, all the rest of them. You have 22 amino acids. Your body's making all of them except 9 out of the food that you're eating. And here's something I just love too is our enzymes are built from proteins.
mhm,
So I'm sorry, and so protein is built from amino acids. So to get an enzyme, you need 3,000 proteins. I mean, can you imagine how many amino acids you need to build those enzymes? And so we get amino acids from plants, and that's the thing that most people don't realize. All
mhm,
amino acids on Earth come from plants. Every protein on Earth comes from plants. And so when we have a person eating animals, I'm like, well, what plants did that animal eat? Were they healthy and good? Because if they weren't, oh my gosh, Ruth, I test people all the time that eat so much meat and they are deficient
of
in
course.
amino acids
Of course.
because they're eating meat that did not eat the grass and the herbs and all the, flowers and buttercups that, that our cows should be eating. I grew up in Wisconsin, full of cows, right? Our family has a like 1,500-acre ranch out in Arkansas, and those cows are just eating everything and rolling down the hill with wild pigs and just having a great old time. And that's what you want to eat. That's what's in my freezer. I know the grass that it ate, so I know when I eat that, I'm going to have amino acids to build my protein. But plants matter.
Thank you so much for that distinction because I do feel that there's still a big misunderstanding around, and that most people think, um, let's say again, protein, because that's how they think. To
Mhm.
get my protein in, I need to eat animal protein because that's apparently the best protein for us. And maybe they also are not aware that there are other sources of protein. That's also what I come across quite frequently. So I really love that you made the distinction of talking about plant protein. Obviously, you spoke about amino acids and they come from plants. Um, and I do think this is important for people to know because these plant proteins also have the fiber.
Yes,
So
yes,
it is so much more empowering, and eating too much of the animal protein, and obviously then from sources that are really that don't contain anything good anymore, and maybe even have a lot of trauma inside
yes,
because of the
yes,
way they were held.
yes,
Um, yeah, is more depleting than
yes.
really replenishing to your body, to your soul, to your mind. Would you like to say something about that?
Yeah, absolutely. There were when I wrote some of my educational material for my students, I did a bunch of study, and one of the studies I found was on mean meat.
Mm,
And these studies studied what did the people in prison eat before they committed their crimes.
hmm.
And all of them ate the same exact diet. They ate processed meat, ate Doritos, and drank beer. Like it was like across the board. Like that is like their diet, right? And I was like, absolutely. Because when those animals are being, hurt or strained, they are releasing endorphins and they're releasing emotions. And
Of
guess what
course.
emotions are, guys? Emotions are polypeptides. They're in the blood. I can take your blood and we can see, what kind of emotions you might be dealing with because your emotions are part of your physiological maker and our animals have that. So I love that you brought that up because chickens are hung upside down and drowned. Like there's terrible things that happen to
Hmm.
animals. And we as consumers of those animals should be very aware of what they went through before they became your dinner because emotions are chemicals and they're in the meat. And so they found that young children that are eating hot dogs all the time and sausages that they act out quite a bit more.
Mm.
We don't need a study for that. We can just look at our kids, right? But and they're not getting the enzymes, and so they get constipated and they can't break the food down that they need. I think something about enzymes that people aren't aware of is we're born with a set number of metabolic enzymes. And when they're gone, you die. It's that simple. So if you eat meat, well, meat doesn't have enzymes. And so you need to use a lot more
Mm.
metabolic enzymes. But when you supplement with a diet with, sauerkrauts and kimchi and living food has enzymes.
Yeah.
You kill them at 109 degrees to 115 degrees. And so when you are cooking your food or high heating your food, you're actually killing and destroying, denaturing the enzymes. So then you must rely on your metabolic enzymes. And so I just think of enzymes as like a bank. So when you eat a lot of living food and you grab, even a tablespoon of sauerkraut that you make, not the stuff out of a can, that is going to fill the body with enzymes. And by the way, like sprouts have all of your amino acids, all of your essential, all amino acids are in sprouts alone.
Mhm.
So there's so many living foods that even if we just get some of them, we're getting our enzymes and we're getting some of those amino acids that we're going to need just to repair ourselves so we don't get sick. I didn't touch on pH yet. I don't know if you want me to or not, but that's really important because your minerals build the potential of hydrogen in the body. And the more minerals we do eat, the higher the pH of the bloodstream.
Mm.
As a matter of fact, the higher the pH in the bloodstream. So all of us, so Ruth and I and anybody listening or watching, you all have your blood pH at 7.365, right there about. And if it starts to dip, we need to alkalize your bloodstream. And so when you would need minerals. And so if you eat an apple, eat some spirulina, eat a kale salad, you're going to put minerals into the bloodstream again, and it maintains that healthy pH. Here's the kicker. Those who only eat meat or eat a lot of dairy, eat a lot of grain, those are all very acidic. And so
Mm.
the more acidic foods we eat, the more we need to pull minerals out of our bone structure and out of our muscles because muscles make great ammonia, which will alkalize the bloodstream. So the number one cause of osteoporosis is actually dairy. And I
Mm,
preach that. That'll be on my tombstone, right? Because people don't realize when they eat dairy, it's acidic and we have to pull minerals out of our bone structure and we get muscle wasting just to compensate for the fact that we didn't grab an apple or we didn't eat some, nuts and seeds and we didn't grab, some millet or buckwheat. And so now we're deficient in our minerals, so we need to get them from our bone structure. And that being said, yes, you can very much reverse osteoporosis by eating a lot more minerals. And the herbs are, I mean, I'm an herb freak. You are an herb freak. And so herbs are it. Like I literally just filmed a video because I made adrenal tea and it has, Ramonera bark and it's got cat's claw and, Pardiarco and chaga and astragalus. And I just threw a bunch of herbs in that one and mushrooms, but that's also loaded in minerals. And if you look at the
mm,
side effects of eating that tea, it reverses diabetes, it gets rid of, any kind of colitis, multiple cancers. And it's just a bunch of like bark and and herbs from outside because of the mineral content. And I think we lack the understanding of how important it is to eat minerals. And I will firmly always believe that any dis-ease in our body is a mineral deficiency. Because
mm.
if we had electrons, orbiting, which are what atoms are around those protons, which are what minerals are. Remember, you memorize there's hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, right? And so those minerals really, they just create us and make us alive. So I did want to add that mean meat, that we can see what happens to children and humans and big people when we eat a lot of dark, heavy food that doesn't have nutrient density. And then on the opposite side, we can see what happens when we bring in life. We have more life, we feel more life,
Mm.
and we keep those enzymes.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing and for talking about the pH as well. That is super important. Um, yeah, and I feel that because our lives are getting crazier and crazier, busier and busier, we have a pace that is not normal and we are ignoring our natural rhythms, kind of forgetting that we are actually nature. So we need to honor rhythm more than everything else. Um, our whole lifestyle already makes us more acidic. So we now need to be even more careful or mindful about adding minerals, making sure that we keeping ourselves as much in balance as we can. I
Mhm.
would like to hear three simple steps that you give someone who's coming to you for health advice or maybe to one of your amazing cooking classes. And I know three is not a lot, but I have a feeling that because you are so practical and hands-on, that in three tips, you will already really help someone to turn their whole way of feeling and being and living around.
Thank you. Yes, there are three big things, and the first one has nothing to do with food. The first one has to do with your mind. You need to believe that you can be better tomorrow. I mean, if because where focus goes, energy flows. So if I woke up every day and I was like, oh, Christ, right, that's what my day is going to be like. So if I woke up and said, oh, I don't want to give up this great thing I'm eating all the time and I have to do this little thing now to feel better. That's not going to work. So making sure that our mind gets looking forward and not backwards.
Mhm,
And I think it's really easy, especially now, to look backwards and we have regret, we have doubt, we have, oh, what did I do wrong? But I think just staying focused on moving forward
mhm,
and not looking backwards is really going to be important. So believing that you can achieve something and that the world is conspiring to make it happen right behind you is going to be very faithful. And if you have a religion that you are dedicated to, then you know this. You know that you are told to believe in something before it even happens. And that's what faith is, right? That's what faith is. And so that's the number one thing. Number two is water. I mean, I just want people to drink more water, and not just water. I want you to add something to the water. So please don't drink tap water. Raise your right hand. I will never drink tap water. Okay, so like don't drink tap water, but don't drink out of plastic water bottles either. But like find your water source, right? Either you're distilling it or whatever you're doing, structuring your water. If you take a good spring water, and for I know we have it in America. I'm sure we have it other places too, but you can look up online where your springs are. In
Mm-hmm.
America, is find a spring near me.
Mm-hmm.
But you could find a spring, and that water, you can boil it, whatever you want to do, but you can throw it in your blender. And this is something people don't realize. You don't have to go spend all that money on a structured water system. You can structure your own water by putting it in a blender and throwing it on high for 5 or 10 seconds. And now you've got structured water, and that water will actually be better, by far better absorbed into the cells of the body because it's spinning. Everything is spinning. Your blood is spinning. You see it like this, you see frequencies like that, but that's not it. What you're seeing is this everything is circulating. So
Mm-hmm.
all of our blood is spiraling through our body all of the time, and the water, when it's structured and it's moving, it's absorbed into our body better. So I do encourage you to find a good water source and then add real salt. Not Morton's and not the crap the government's trying to sell you to get you iodine. Don't ever drink that. But like Himalayan salt and black salt and
Mm-hmm.
real salt. And
Mm-hmm.
those are important. And then the third thing is going to be plants. It just is, because I see life change all of the time when people eat plants. Their bowel movements work incredible. They have more energy. Their heart is relaxing. Magnesium's coming into their body. So I've seen it so often for the last 20 some years that those are the three top things I really would stress.
Absolutely love it. And they feel doable and
Yeah.
achievable. And thank you so much for the tip with the water in the food processor. That's awesome. That's that's a great tip. And I would like to add, I'm not sure if this is aligned with you, but I'm going to say it anyway. Please stop drinking water with ice cubes in there
Yes, I
because
know.
this is really not good for your entire gut health, for your digestion. So your whole body will go, oh. And if you shrink, I was just making a gesture where I showed that we were all contracting and shrinking. And when we do that, obviously the body can't digest, because when the body digests, it can't be contracting and shrinking. I feel I could talk to you forever, beautiful Karen. I have to be mindful of our time and really think
Yeah.
about the questions that are so important still to me. We might just have to have you back. I would like to ask you, what would you say to your younger self if you had
Mm.
one powerful advice or message to your younger self? What would it be?
Mm. That's a good question. My younger self would I I would probably tell myself to keep believing,
Hmm.
because I always did big things even when I was 12, right? And there were times when I would just get discouraged, but I felt it like inside of me. Haven't you ever just
Hmm.
felt like there's something more? I bet your
Hmm.
listeners are know there's something in there. And like, and we can't not believe it. So if you get a prompting, whatever your religious beliefs, if you get that prompting, don't shush it down. Believe it. Like, believe that that came to you and you need to act on it. Um, I'm excited. I have to also, I'm really excited, Ruth, because we're putting together a documentary, and
Hmm.
it started out being a documentary on Lilly Fields and
Hmm.
holistic health educators. That's our online school. We have
Hmm.
students in the country speaking 100 different languages. And but the documentary actually turned into much more than that, because I've had these amazing opportunities in my life where I have felt something or heard something, and monster things happen because of it. And so I get to share so many of these stories in the documentary that, to me, I watch it, I listen to them, and I'm like, I'm mind blown, because I can't believe I even lived through some of that. But I think I would have told myself when I was younger, just be a little bit stronger because you are going to be able to do that. And I think that that's what I tell myself right now too,
Mm.
because it's hard. Like when and it can be very, you know how it is. And
Mm-hmm.
like when there's so much responsibility on our shoulders and we have children, we have grandchildren, we have staff, we have contractors, we have friends, and we feel responsibility for others and for ourselves, it can be discouraging. But I have this saying. I don't know if I can say it online because it has a bad word in it, but it says, "Don't let the S show steal your glow." Like, don't
Mm-hmm.
let the show steal your glow. You can still shine, even though there might be some dung flying your
Mm-hmm.
way. And, because of what's happening in the world, we cannot subject ourselves to despair. We must believe that inside of us is this inner being that others need. Because I know I need some of you. I know that. I told Ruth, I'm like, "Oh, you're just so beautiful. And I'm really old now, but I would love to wear pretty things on my arms." Like, it's so fun to still be inspired by those who are all around you, because after all, are we not one? Have we not all been
Absolutely.
taught to love each other? You can't love someone you're judging, and you
Mm.
can't love yourself if you're judging yourself either. So I think that's probably what I tell my inner self again, is just keep believing, because you have no idea,
I love
what's
that.
really
That's
going to
so,
come.
so beautiful and inspiring. I just quickly have to let my cat in. Excuse me, real life conversations here.
I
Come
love
on,
it.
come on. Yes, I hear you. Yes, that's actually true. It's very hot by now, so she must be very hot. She needs some water.
Good.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing this. And yeah, you're absolutely right. And for me, this brings us back to remembering nature, that, we are nature and we are connected with all of this beautiful nature. And yeah, I feel really we keep forgetting, probably not you, but um, I see many people who keep forgetting, and I myself have to remind myself again, or I like to remind myself daily that, yeah, we are all connected to something bigger. Thank you so much. I would love to hear. So, you're doing so many incredible things. Please talk about your programs, your books. You probably can't share everything right now, but where can we find you? Where can we get in touch with you? How can we work with you? Please share.
You bet. Well, we did just create a website, and it's still pretty new, and social media is brand new. So please follow me, because I have like hundreds of, only a couple hundred people, but it's ZuZu Unleashed. And I chose the word unleashed because I'm 58. I have been living this lifestyle for 40 years. I know how the body works, and I
Mhm.
know how your body works, and I know how to eliminate dis-ease. And when I get asked to speak, I keynote and I speak all over, and they want a PowerPoint. And I don't do PowerPoints. If they really insist on a PowerPoint, they get like 1 or 2 slides, and I ignore it, because I I want to teach what people need. I want to always rely on the spirit of the room to help teach. So zuzuunleashed.com is my website. And there you can go to Holistic Health Educators, which is our online school of natural healing. We have graduates all over the world. And our holistic healthcare practitioner course, I've never seen even a naturopathic doctor course that rivals it. It is so incredible. You are going to be blown away. And we have a very high graduation rate, because you get assigned a student academic advisor. I have the most amazing staff. Oh, you will fall in love with every one of them. And they walk you through. So even if you just want to do personal certification, that's fine too. But if you want to come into the world where we need you desperately, you're looking at 600 and 900,000 men and women in the medical field are leaving right now, because they don't want to keep doing what they're doing around the world. They know what's happening. And so they're coming in by, as well. At least a third of our students around the world are nurses and doctors. I give practicums to medical doctors. They have to meet with me before they graduate. I dress up a little more, but anyhow, but it's like, because they simply don't know this. Our medical doctors don't know these things. So you just learned a lot about amino acids and enzymes. Your doctor doesn't know those
Mm.
things. don't be afraid to share them with them because that's your one also. They're one with us. They might seem like they're on the wrong side of the tracks, and half of them are, but like we're still here to love them and to share with them. And if their door is open, great. But if it's not, it's not. So the online school is our primary focus. Lilly Fields is amazing. We have people who've come here from all over, and they come for a 5-day or 8-day retreat, or they just come to be, or they just come stay in one of the Airbnbs. They just like to be here. We are putting on an addition, so we can expand. We have like only 9 rooms in the wellness center, so we're definitely putting on an addition over the next several months. But we just please reach out. We'd love to have you come and visit or come out by you and give a bunch of presentations. So we would love to try. We love traveling, and we're just here to serve. I just love to serve. We do. And my husband's amazing. You would love him. He loves to serve too. So
Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing, Karen. Yeah, and I feel we have so much in common. I am 51, so I feel it is us women in this phase of life who are reawakening and really wanting to serve and empower and make the world an even more beautiful, healthier, more alive place. So I am so grateful to you, and we must make sure that we connect on the social media together. So I'm not sure if this has been done so far. Ah, yeah. Thank you so much for this beautiful and inspiring conversation. Thank you for you. You are just beautiful. I truly appreciate you and everything that you do.
and me, you, like I said, isn't it wonderful to find those spirits that you just know are yours, and we're just separated right now, but we're not.
But we're not.
I,
Exactly.
but we're not.
I love it. I love it.
Thank
I
you.
really hope you all enjoyed this conversation. Please make sure to look up Karen, to find her, to connect with her, to follow her. She is amazing. I know I didn't promise you too much. And please connect with me as well. You know that I always offer a 15-minute free connection call if you're interested to find out more about me. And all of you, please make sure you know that you are love, you are light, and you are already whole. Please keep glowing. Much love.